Welcome back. In this video we're going to look at declaration, assignment and initialization in Java. So we'll start with declaration, and this is where you want to declare some place in memory to store some bit of data. And so there's two parts to this. There's the type of the data, and there's some identifier or name. Okay, so this is usually referred to as the variable name, and this is usually referred to as the variable type. So we can write something like int, let's say height. Okay, we could write float, age. We could write boolean, door open, and so on. Now you'll notice that I am using proper camel case, so that means that we use a lowercase to start off our variable names, and whenever we change word we put an uppercase. Okay, so this is the way you should be writing your variables. So here what we've said is create an int, okay, and it's allowed to store whole numbers, okay, and we've given it a name so we know where to get it from when we need it in memory. Okay, same with our age and same with our door open. Okay, so this is declaration. Okay, this creates a variable and this allows us to use it from that point on. Okay, so if we go to our code and we add these in, so int height, float age, boolean open. Okay, we save that and we compile that. Okay, everything will compile fine. Okay. The next thing we have is our assignment. Okay, so once you have declared a variable, then you can use it in assignment. Now, assignment is not an equation and you need to be careful about that. We're going to use the assignment operator, which looks like equals in maths, but this is the assignment operator in Java. I like to call it the becomes operator, which will make sense shortly. So once we've declared our variable, we can use it, and so I can write something like height becomes 4. Now with your assignment, this guy over here, okay, is called a literal. Okay, so whenever you have a value that is literally that value, it can't be any other value, it is called a literal. Okay, so be careful of that terminology. So this 4 is a literal, it's literally 4. And over here we have our variable, and so what we're saying is height becomes 4, so we're putting 4 into height. On the next line we can change that value, okay, remembering that we are just going down the code, okay, so it's 4 and then it's 8. Now because this is not an equation, we can write things like height becomes height plus 2. Okay. Now with this we need to think about what the order is of things happening. The left hand side is the storage, okay, so it's where stuff is going into, and the right hand side is all retrieval. So we go to height and grab its value first, which is an 8. We grab the literal value 2, we add these up, and then we store them. Okay, storing 10 in there. So let's have a look at the code for this, and we'll add some print lns so that we can see what's happening. So I've got height becomes 4. I'll put system.out.ln and we'll check out height. And then I'll say height becomes 8. I'll say system.out.ln height. And then we'll go height becomes height plus 2. Okay. So now we have that bit of code. We'll save that, and then we'll compile it, and then we'll run it. Okay, and we can see here that we get 4, 8, and then 10. Okay, so it's compiling perfectly fine, and it's storing that memory perfectly fine. Now, a couple of mistakes that we could have made. So if you try and use a variable before it's declared, okay, so here I try and store height as 4 before I've created height, I will get a compiler error. Okay, cannot find symbol height because it hasn't been declared yet. Okay, so it needs to be declared before we can use it. Now, the other mistake that is very common is if you've declared something and you try and redeclare it. Okay, if you try and do this, I'll just show you. Okay, you'll notice variable height is already defined. It's already declared. Okay, so it gives you an error. You can only declare it once. Okay, so they're two very common mistakes that beginners make, and you need to be careful about that. Now, we've talked about declaration, we've talked about assignment, but I mentioned another one, which is called initialization. Okay, and all initialization is the combination of declaration and assignment on one line. Okay, so this could be something like int height is 2. Okay, so this here both declares the variable and gives it an initial value. So we'll go and do that now. So we'll give this, say, 2, and we'll add the system.out.println, and we'll print that out. Okay, we'll save that, and we'll just make sure that works. So let's bring this up. So declare that, and then we'll run it. We can see that it has that initial value too. So this is our declaration, assignment, and initialization. You are going to use these constantly, so get used to them, and make sure you really understand them because they're basically really fundamental to making your programs work in Java. Alright, thank you.